My name is Tina Pott. I'm a graduate of the Civil Engineering Cooperative Education program of Memorial University, and I also have a master's in Safety and Risk Engineering from Memorial. I lost my father on the Ocean Ranger in 1982. At the time, Dad was 33. I was 10. When I think about what happened, I'm brought back to a 10-year-old child. The most important thing a person could do is to come home.
Design issues, lack of a safety management system, operational issues, those barriers were not adequate to prevent the sinking of the Ocean Ranger. And the storm was just the catalyst.
I was aware of the weather, the wind and all that kind of stuff, but of course, I didn't know anything until around 3 o'clock in the morning. I got a call from my boss saying, you better get down to Ocean Ranger has a problem, serious problem. Better get down to the office.
3 o'clock in the morning, the phone rings, and it's Doug Hunt telling me we think we've lost the Ocean Ranger. And so we had 5 employees on the Ocean Ranger, and I had my business partner, so I called my business partner. He and I met and went down to Atlantic Place.
One of the things that was needed was to have, to deal with the contact with the families. And I was the most likely suspect there, so I accepted to do that. You know, I felt certainly that we needed to make contact more than by radio, and it should be personally.
I remember sitting in the living room watching TV, and a clip came on that there was issues with the Ocean Ranger. I just remember all my aunts were in the kitchen with Mom, and there was a big fluster, and I knew something wasn't right. And I remember waiting for news.
Max and I had a lot of dealings because Max had lost his whole crew. They immediately agreed to look after and deal with the families in a pretty significant way, more so than anybody else at the time.
A young guy named Norman Halliday, his mom ran a flower shop in Hamilton, Ontario, and I had to call her. We had no real knowledge, but I just knew that if the Ocean Ranger is sunk in the weather conditions, there's not much hope of us finding any survivors. And so I had to tell her, you know, as I get more information, I'll pass that along to you, but don't expect me to give you any good news. I hope I can, but I don't think I will. Deep down inside, you know that, no, this is just the beginning of what's going to be a real bad situation, right? Yeah.
I remember that night looking out the front window in the driveway, waiting for Dad to come home. And Mom said, Tina, you need to go to bed now. Dad will hopefully be home in the morning. So I did.
I can remember that morning as a child. I was about 5 years old, almost 5, and it was a cold February. I lived in Gander at the time, but I do recall a darkness that fell over the province in the coming days. 84 people passed on that night.
Eventually, they did find my dad's body. He was one of the 22 men that were found. I went into engineering because I liked math and science, but I gravitated towards safety because I lost my dad. And I personally, as an engineer, I would never want to have to tell someone that their family member died at work.
I used to either have a couple of guys get together in a bar or a restaurant, or in several occasions at my house, my apartment at the time. Could be 10 or 12 people. And they were from the various rigs over the off-shift times. And from the beginning, I got a pretty bad image of the Ocean Ranger. The particular attitude was, you know, don't worry about the rough weather. This one can't sink. The Ocean Ranger was unsinkable.
There was no safety culture. And one of the things that I came away from it with was I guess, a strong sense of how important it was to try and maintain a safe workplace wherever you were.
The unprecedented scale of this tragedy and the national attention and the worldwide attention that it garnered and the effect that it had made this a turning point with respect to future oil and gas development in this province. Post-incident, there was 2.5 years of an investigation that went underway to learn the sources and the root causes behind this accident. From that birthed the Atlantic Accord Implementation Act. When the operators come and work in our offshore, they are required to have a comprehensive safety management system. Our officers and staff review the commitments and conduct compliance verification activities prior to allowing work to occur. Once an authorization has been issued, our staff conduct audits and inspections. That is how we monitor and we verify as a regulator that the operators are adhering to their commitments in their safety plans and also the regulations and Atlantic Accord Act.
What I think came out of it was that it empowered people to take the position and take the view that I have to be responsible for my own safety. I have to make sure that I have the training, the expertise, the equipment I need. And if my employer is not providing me with that, I'm going to demand that that changes. Every time you go on, somebody new comes on board a rig now, there's a safety briefing, usually from the offshore installation manager himself or herself, to remind them of what steps are in place to provide a safe environment for them, and what they need to do as individual workers to ensure that that stays in place. You not only have the right to refuse to do work, you have the right to stop somebody else from doing work if you think that the work they're doing is creating an unsafe environment or creating a hazard for themselves. And that was a very powerful message and I think a very vivid message as to what you have to do yourself and what you can do yourself to ensure that the safety of yourself and the safety of others that you work with.
Operators are required to have a permit to work program. Incident investigation and reporting is also a requirement for operators. We have specific adverse weather guidelines. There's regular drills on all the facilities. There's dedicated fire and gas teams who practice regularly. There is no guarantee that the Ocean Ranger will never happen again, but we can lean on skill and training and good design so that it will reduce the likelihood of an incident like that ever occurring.
I'll put it this way, we have 4 grandchildren. If either one of my grandchildren decided they wanted to work offshore, I'd fully support them because that's safe in the environment now. I wouldn't be concerned about them working there.
These regulations are in place clearly for a reason. What's the cost of human life?
It's been over 40 years, and the pain, when I think about it, is just the same. It doesn't go away. We did our best, and Mom did her best. You know, she did everything she could, but losing Dad changed her, and she was never the same. I can't stress enough how important it is to be vigilant with safety. We can never let it on our guard. This tragedy, the legacy from that is to keep our people safe, to keep the men and women that work offshore safe every day.
I think we have to continually educate the youth when they're coming into the industry of why things are the way they are, whether it be toolbox talks, whether it be memorials like what we're doing right now. It's touched everybody and we should never forget.
People are so important. They make life worth living. And the more we do research, communicate, educate, train, ensure that safety systems are working, ensure that evacuation systems are working, the more we honor the people that were lost on the Ocean Ranger.